Alright. So, in every college class I've ever taken, each person is forced to stand up against their will and say something interesting about them, or their name and their major, or something that always just terrified me, and I always hated doing it because I was the kid in the class that everyone would always look up, look back, turn around, and stare at while I said my little portion about me. So if you'll just give me a minute to explain why. People tend to notice me because it's easier to remember the odd than the norm. The three main things is stared death in the eye as a little girl. Unlike most family trees, my family tree is a web, and I'm a paramedic major with aspirations to be a flight nurse. Hopefully, a little combat experience in there would be awesome. Well, for starters, how many 3-year-olds do you know that has met and beat death? When I was 3 years old, I was diagnosed with Burkitt's lymphoma. It's a non-Hodgkin's disease that affects the lymph nodes and causes mutated cells to develop tumors. I had a 21 centimeter and a 22 centimeter tumor in my stomach with anthers, which are like tentacle-like projections already that had come up and wrapped around my aorta, which is the main artery that causes that your heart pumps blood into your body through. I had a 10% chance of survival. One night my bone marrow quit making, meaning my body wasn't producing any more blood cells at all. And they gave me till morning. My mother, at this point, just didn't give up hope. She wrapped her arms and legs around me and started praying. And 30 minutes later, I woke up, looked her in the eye, and asked if I could go play in the playroom that they had for the other cancer patients. It was all uphill from there. The doctor said I would have mental and physical handicaps. From the treatments, and to this day, I will not and am not ever cured. I'm only in remission. I've been in remission for about 20 years now, almost, without further complications. I completed my high school distinguished with honors. I got a letter in cheerleading and track. I have a gymnastics national title under my belt. And so, take that, medical books. I would have never accomplished what I have without my family. But unlike most families, my family tree is more of a web. I'm adopted by my biological mother's father and stepmother. So my biological mother is my oldest sister, and her 4 sisters are my sisters as well, instead of my aunts. From there, she now has a son and daughter and of her own, and just to show you that karma is a real thing, when her little brother, who's about 20 years younger than her, was 13, she had to take custody of him and take care of him as one of her own. So my biological uncle is my nephew by law, but by the way our family sees it, he's also my half-brother, or my brother in a way. I don't know. And like I said, it's crazy. When I was born, before the adoption, a man signed my birth certificate, and I grew up knowing him as my biological dad. We had a relationship and kept in touch. We visited. I called him Daddy Ray J. Right before my 15th birthday, I found out that he wasn't really my biological dad. Another man was. He and I now have a relationship, and I'm currently living with him and his wife and her 2 boys. It still weirds me out sometimes how alike we are when he had no part in my raising at all. The rest of the web comes from his side of the family. He was also adopted, but not within the family like I was. He found his biological mother when he realized one of his good friends in high school was actually his sister. He now has a relationship with her and the rest of their family. So to wrap it up, I have 2 mothers, a stepmother, 3 fathers, 5 aunts/sisters, a half-sister/niece, two half-brothers slash nephews, a 17-year-old niece, and 17 other nieces and nephews slash cousins. No matter how messed up our family is, we all have so much love and support for one another, and we push each other to excel in whatever our dreams and ambitions are. Which brings me to paramedic school. Both of my parents are nurses. My true biological dad is a paramedic. My stepmom is an RN, and one of my sisters is an LVN. Needless to say, growing up with all of them and my own medical experiences, I am fascinated by the medical field. Nursing is too slow for my taste, so EMS sounded perfect. When they found my cancer, they transported me via helicopter to Dallas Children's straight out of surgery. I woke up from the anesthesia while we were getting ready to take off, and the nurse, and knowing what I know now, the nurse could have just pushed some meds, knocked me out, and gone on with her job, but instead she took the time to make sure I felt comfortable and safe and reassure me that everything was going to be okay and that my mom would be there when we got to the other hospital, and then knock me out. So if I can, wanting to be a flight nurse, if I can just make one little girl feel the way she made me feel and just basically repay that debt, I'd die a happy woman, you know. Not only that, but the human body is just fascinating. There's always new things that they're discovering, new medicines, there's still things about the human body that they still don't know to this day. Well, I hope I've accomplished my goal in shedding some light on the weird person that I am. Adoption, cancer, a job that's always different, keeps me on my toes. It's pretty unique. I've yet to meet someone else with as interesting as a history as I. Whether you did or didn't get lost, I'm always open to meet new people, even just make friendly conversation. You can always contact me through Blackboard. Thanks.